Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a hump day edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Banners Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction Roofing. Need an orthopedist, you go to Brock, need a roof, call Parish. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, Bocock Brothers, Premium Cigars. Use the code MAT15, MAT15, MAT15 for 15% off your order. Okay, what's up, y'all? Good morning. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Hump Day Edition. Glad to have you hanging. LSU in their bye week. Hopeful that use this time to get healthy and find a running game. As a matter of fact, last night I recorded an additional a bonus Locked On pod that I hope you'll check out. Won't be offended or anything if you don't, but I hope you do. And it was I used a Kelly was on Feinbaum on Monday, and remember he didn't have his Monday press conference, but he was on Feinbaum Monday and said this.
Go back to our preparation. We got 85 to 90% drop 8, and I look at our plan, and I didn't like our plan.
85 to 90% drop 8. I didn't like our plan. 85 to 90% drop 8. We talked about LSU seeing a lot of three-man fronts rushing three, but there's the head coach telling you it was 85 to 90% drop 8. 85 to 90%. And you didn't run the football. Gigantic problem. Anyway, so I went deep dive into exploring that in the bonus Locked On. So I hope you'll check that out. I recorded it last night, published it last night. This morning's episode is the recruiting episode. They always do with Shay, but I hope you'll check that out. Let's say some good mornings. Saints are back on the practice field today, getting ready for the Giants. Winnable game for New Orleans. I think they got a shot to get on the board this week. I think they will, actually. I like the matchup. We'll talk more about it on Friday for sure on AFR. But got to keep Rattler upright. Giants had 6 sacks last week, but I think Rattler's ability to move could offset the Giants' pass rush. And no Malik Neighbors, I think, creates a real challenge for Jackson Dart in his first road starts. I think I'm actually going to pick the Saints to win this week. Not going to be many times I do that this year, but I think I'm going to pick them to win this week. All right, please smash the like button if you would, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Tiger Poppy, good morning. Hey, Jacob, good morning. Watched Aaron Murray break down the Ole Miss LSU football game yesterday. Also watched Handicast as well. Both pointed out interesting things in the game. Yeah, Hannah Griff and Richard Dixon record Handicast after AFR. So when we leave studio, they're coming in. So I always chat with them for a little bit. Talking to Richard a little bit about the missed opportunities. It's funny. His feeling is a lot like mine. It's like with regard to play calling, right? The low-hanging fruit, the lowest common denominator, the easiest thing to criticize always is play call. But then when you go watch film, a lot of times it illustrates what opportunities were there with the play call if it's executed. Like, for example, and I'm sure they, on Handicast, I haven't seen the episode yet, but I'm sure they talked about this. So on the first play of the second series, the 50-yarder to Xavier Thomas. So, and go watch Handicast, you can see this. But so Xavion's lined up on the right side of the formation. And there is no safety on that side. So it is just, Xavion's got man coverage on the right side. The safety's on the left side, of the field. Xavier beats his man off the line, and he is gone. I mean, he takes 3 steps and puts his hand in the air, like throw it up, I'm open. Like there's nobody home. I mean, this is going to be 80. Let's see, that was from there on 33. So this is going to be a 57-yard touchdown. I mean, it is gone. Could that have been right? LSU started from their own 33. Anyway, so like he's gonna be gone. I'm sorry, this is gonna be 67 yards, right? 60. This is gonna be a 67-yard touchdown. And Nuss, instead of throwing the ball deep down the right, just inside the numbers, really down the hash, I guess, it floats on him to the middle of the field, like right around the logo. So Xavier has to stop, drift toward the middle of the field, catch it, and by that point, the safety had come over from the other side of the field. The safety was coming over, and darn near intercepts the pass. And so a lot of the feeling on that has been, well, Nuss his arm. He can't throw his oblique, whatever. Well, you go watch the play. Paul Mabenga gets knocked into Nussmeier's feet. So when Garrett's going to throw the ball, he doesn't step in to throw. He hops back so as not to get his knee obliterated by Paul Mabenga falling on it. Mabenga had a defensive tackle lined up on him. The tackle stunts inside toward the center. The defensive tackle, who's head up on Mabenga, goes inside toward the center, and the end loops around the tackle to Mabenga. And Mabenga's not watching. He's watching the guy stun inside. And this end loops around and just crushes him and knocks him back on his backside right around Nussmeier's feet. So as Nuss is going to throw the ball, instead of stepping into the throw and throwing what would be a 67-yard touchdown, a walk-in score to a wide-open receiver, it floats to the middle of the field and everyone goes, oh, his oblique. Oh, his arm. No, he had a 300-pound man falling at his feet, and so he hopped back, which is why he didn't get anything into that throw. That's what watching the tape can do for you. Anyway, yes, I would highly recommend if you're interested in that sort of thing, you go watch, and they do a great job on Handycast. I'll share Handycast link in here because I know there's probably a lot of people that haven't seen it, don't know what it is, but hang on. Let's see. Handycast. Here we go. Don't want that. I want that is what I want. Copy. There. Okay. Handycast link is shared. This off my screen. I don't know why that's there. No, I don't want that. I want it off my screen. There. Okay. All right. Tim Gotro, Bubba Smith. Hey, Thomas, good morning. Abner, good morning. Same to you. Have a blessed day. Thanks to everyone for being here. Hey, Tiger Diver, good morning. How about the Sox? And before you jump on me about being a bandwagon fan, I've been pulling for them since 96 when Nomar showed up. The old bandwagon Sox fans. Hey, Ryan, good morning. Brian Wynn, good morning. Christian, morning, Scone. How do you not have bases loaded? How do you have bases loaded? Not about a night score nothing. Because Mike Stanton showed up and whiffed. A little surprised they didn't try to score on the sac fly on the second out. Old Mike Stanton. Mike Stanton calling himself Giancarlo is like Bobby Boucher's dad calling himself Roberto at the end of the movie. Ciao, Roberto. It's like, we know your name's Mike. Javen, good morning. Club, what up, dude? Ryan, Matt called it yesterday with 11 and with Matt called it yesterday. We'll finish 11 and 1. We are the head coach. If we are the head coach, if you don't like the plan, are you incapable of changing the plan? That's one thing Matt Tell me, since Kelly's been here, what is the one thing LSU has had an identity? Um, do you mean overall as a program or offensively? Um, okay, thank you. Um, well, I think obviously that changes based on who your quarterback is. So I would put it to you this way. It's a fair question, but I'll put it to you this way. Kelly, his staff show up. Miles Brennan's here. Nussmeier's here. And they go get Jaden Daniels. Jaden is functionally a different quarterback than the other two, right? Because of his running ability. Nussmeier stays, waits his turn, but you are recruiting Bryce Underwood. And now you've also recruited Peyton Houston. And in the portal, you got Michael Van Buren. I think they know what they want their identity to be. And I think you probably didn't expect Nussmeier to hang around for a fourth, certainly not a fifth year, but you had that experience and a guy who's really good. But his inability to run the ball limits what you can do in this offense on the ground, obviously. But with Van Buren and Peyton Houston in the queue, and Jaden before, I think that tells you what they want their identity to be. But you have to have the right personnel. So, were you going to kick Nussmeier out when you have a fourth and fifth year guy with all this arm talent? No. So I think they know what they want their identity to be. I think what they have not done a good job of is uh, identifying a run game without the quarterback having running ability. Does that make sense? Senator Feinbaum, I have no problem with that, by the way. Like, we are a government of the people, by the people, for the people. Yes, everyday people like you, me, or Paul Feinbaum should be able to run for United States Senate or governor or anything. We are a government of the people, by the people, for the people. It's one of the things I hate about our government is it's mostly just career politicians who get cush jobs and they owe political favors to people who effectively end up being the puppet masters. So, yeah, I actually like the idea of people who don't have a career, a history of politics to run our government. We are a government of the people, by the people, for the people, not of career politicians, by career politicians, for career politicians, which is what it becomes. Hey, Maurice, Bailey, what's been Brian Kelly's most complete team if he's had one? I can't say, Bailey, that I know every team he's had at Notre Dame or Cincinnati or any of them before them. But if you're trying to dismiss a guy that's won 300 games and, by the way, got Notre Dame to a BCS championship game in 2-14 playoffs, you need to check yourself. Like, you can be upset that they lost this game to Ole Miss and they got outcoached and they lost a game they should have won. All that is true. So, too, is it true that in his first year with an inferior roster taking over a disaster, they went to the SEC championship game. I'm not saying be pumped about losing to Ole Miss. I'm not saying be pumped that they can't run the football for the second year. No, I get there's problems, but you can't like diminish the man's entire career. Come on. Oh, hang on.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish Built. Parish Built. Parish Built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
All right. Please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Good morning. I think Denbrock gets much credit for 2023 like Brady did in 19. Feels like Jaden covered up a lot of holes. I think Mike Denbrock is a great offensive coordinator, a great play caller, has been everywhere he's been. Look at what he's done at Notre Dame. I think Denbrock is great. And I think Joe Sloan deserves a lot of credit for Jaden Daniels' development as well. Remember, the knock on Jaden Daniels when he showed up was he was inaccurate. And my goodness, did they fix that? And Joe was quarterback's coach. I mean, Joe was the one there working with the position group. Hey, Dale, good morning. Dustin, good morning. Dale, hypothetically, if a college quarterback can't throw an accurate 15-yard pass, should he be replaced? Can't? Like, cannot ever? Or has guys fallen at his feet and is flushed out of the pocket and is thrown into triple coverage? Is that what you mean, Dale? Chandler, good morning. I'm being irrational and overreacting because it's a bye. We are teetering 8-4 or 11-1. We're going to skull drag USC. Chance. Nelson's deep throw looks a lot like Drew Brees' last season, but he's so inaccurate, also inaccurate, injured, or has a rest. Again, that's why I would encourage you to go watch Handycast. Like, I think the deep ball is inaccurate thing is a fan narrative that everyone's convinced themselves of now that he's hurt. And I just told you the 50-yarder to Xavion, what happened? Paul Mabing is falling at his feet, so he hops back to avoid having his knee rolled. Hard to make it, to step into a throw 50 yards downfield when a 300-pound lineman's falling at your feet and you hop back. Hey, Robbie, good morning. Heard Tennessee baseball manager Tony Vitello is linked to the Giants head coach. Yeah, he. I do think that. I think, look, obviously the major leagues is dramatically different than college. I don't know that Vitello's style and temperament would work in Major League Baseball, but he has already spoken to Buster Posey about the Giants' managerial job, which would be pretty interesting. I would love to see him gone from Tennessee. I don't have to like it, but I can at least respect the fact that they're all in and he's built a great roster and they're a contender there. Hey, Gregory, good morning. Tiger fans, Rational Tomorrow starts today. Hey, Brad, why'd you call Big Noon the silly morning show? It's not as good as Game Day, but it's not bad. Yeah, it's the silly thing on Fox that nobody watches. Yeah. Chance, you say we have 5 starters on the OL, but Mabenga started half the season last year. That counts. He didn't start half the season. He started the final 4 games and the bowl game. And he's also rotating at left guard with Cohen Eccles, who was not a starter a year ago. So are you really implanted as a starter if you're rotating in game, every game with a redshirt freshman who's playing for the first time? Rocky, morning, Matt. Watched Handycast last night. I'm really sick now. We left 40 points out there with poor decisions and bad throws. Yes. If you watch that, you will come away understanding what we knew going in, which is Ole Miss is not a good defense. And you had so many opportunities to score. Your inability and unwillingness to run the football, at times inaccurate throws, missed opportunities down the field. Yes, absolutely. That's the benefit of watching film. And so the convenient narrative is play calling sucks, blame the play call. But then you look and you go, look at all the plays that were wide open if you execute them. That's the tricky part. And y'all are going to say I'm a Sloan apologist. I'm not. Like, I objectively am not pleased at all that they threw it 34 times and ran it 21. Like, that, I believe, is completely unacceptable. Now, were all of those pass plays or some of them RPOs where Nuss checked into a pass. I don't know the answer to that. But ultimately, the blame goes up the food chain like in everything. And that's an imbalance that cannot happen when they're dropping 8. As Brian Kelly said, 85 to 90% of the time. Seth, Handycast is awesome. Can they get a tablet that Richard can draw on so we can see what he's talking about? We're working on that. Yes. I actually had a call last week with on Thursday with a telestrator company to do that, not only for Handycast, but also for OTB. Austin, good morning. Count the money. The more I sleep on it, the more I want answers on what will change before the season is lost. Also, Christ is Lord. Good morning. Way more important. Hey, Jalen. Morning, sir. Relaxing bye week. Watch the Saints do whatever it is they want to do. Be blessed, your family. Another day, wake up breathing. Amen to that, man. Hey, Robbie. Good morning. Do you think Arkansas would give Petrino a second chance as head coach? I do, actually. And no, I don't think O will be a candidate there. And I asked John Neighbors that yesterday, and he said he thinks there's a real opportunity because there is some support among some money people there at Arkansas that want Petrino back as the head coach. Now he's the interim, but I think he's got 7 games, so that'll be really telling. Where I guess, 7 games. Excuse me, he's got 7 games. So, and it's all SEC games. I think 5 of them are against ranked opponents. So if he goes 2-5 and it looks bad, there's probably not going to be a lot of appetite to hire him full time. But if he goes 4-3, upsets a couple of ranked teams, turns this thing around, I could see them making the case to hire him. Yeah. Hey, John Paul. Good morning, Jalen. Hate the Braves. Didn't make the playoffs, but can hate watch the Yankees. Don't worry, I'm hate watching the Yankees too. This has been a weird season emotionally for me. When Garrett Cole was lost before the year, I just sort of threw my hands in the air. It's a weird time for the organization because when they made the ALCS in 2017, it felt like they were ahead of schedule, which was a great feeling. So I wasn't bummed that they lost to the Astros. That was the trash can banging year. Even with all that, because I felt like, okay, we arrived early and we're going to be back. And then they didn't. And it was just disappointment after disappointment. And then last year, they get to the World Series for the first time since 2009 and weren't competitive. And then you go add Max Fried, and it feels like, okay, you're really making a run at it. And then you lose Cole before the season, and they started hot, and then they completely disintegrated in June. And I just like, what in the world is this team doing? And I just checked out on them. It was like they were going to fire Boone. There was talk about firing Boone mid-season. And then I'll be darned, they got hot late and finished with the best record, tied with Toronto for the best record in the AL. And despite having the best record in the AL, you end up in this stupid wild card thing. And then, of course, you're at home yesterday and you blow it to Boston and whatever. I mean, Crochet is really good. Got to see the Yankees against Crochet at Fenway whenever we went in June. Hey, Survivor's Remorse. Let's see. Good morning. Still needing a venting session. Go ahead, man. Right, LSU OB out for the season. OB. Ryan, what did Ryan say? Let's see. It's comical that offense and defense are competing for the most 3 and outs. Nuss looked better against Southeastern, but he didn't hit a deep ball that game. It was 0 to 20 yards. People forget he took a big hit his core last drive, maybe re-aggravating. I'm with you on that. There were so many plays on Handycast. If it's an RPO pool, man, it'd be a huge place. Nick, morning, Matt. Who was it you had on AFR that mentioned Moffitt not being there makes a difference with O-line's aggressiveness? The games are a break compared to camp. That was Will Blackwell. I also use some of Will's interview in the bonus episode of Locked On that I recorded last night. So Will, of course, was a starting guard on the 2011 team, and he was a first-team All-American, and he was a core part of that era of Les Miles football where they were just going to be super physical. And they were, man. They couldn't throw it a lick, but they were physical. They could play defense and run the football. Let's see. LSU hasn't had a good running game from the backs since Tommy Moffitt left. Take a look at A&M run game. Wonder, does Brian Kelly regret letting him go? Maybe. But I'll also remind you, survivor's remorse. There's a lot of people, fans, who wanted Tommy Moffitt gone. They blamed Tommy Moffitt for injuries and thought Tommy Moffitt was too old school. And I think sometimes you all, maybe not you, survivor's remorse, I don't know what your take was at the time, but that was a very, 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 very common refrain at the time, was that the game had passed Tommy Moffitt by, and the injuries were his fault, and the workouts were too hard, and he was wearing guys down. And I love Tommy Moffitt. I think he's awesome. Ryan, I'm with you on the type of player they want. Does that mean we're going to sacrifice this season because we use a guy that doesn't fit the scheme? No, I don't think that at all. I think you play the skill set of the guys you have, and I think that's the problem. So you don't have a quarterback that can hurt other teams in the run game. Okay, that means you need to find other ways to run the football. It doesn't mean you stop attempting to run the football. And you have very capable runners. I mean, Caden Durham and Harlan Berry and Juwan Johnson, these are very capable runners. So, but you got to commit to running the football. That's my biggest problem. I went through this yesterday. I went through every drive of the first half. Maybe this was on the podcast I did. The only time in the first half where they ran the ball on consecutive plays was a running play followed by the Nussmeier scramble. Here it was. Second quarter, LSU got the ball with 11:14 to play. They went incomplete. 2nd and 10, they ran it with Xavion for 4 yards. On 3rd and 6, Nussmeier scrambled. They went 3 and out. So again, they were going to throw it on 3rd and 6, but Nuss scrambled. That's when they grabbed his undershirt and tore it. But that's the only time they ran the ball on consecutive plays in the first half. See if they did. You want to see if they did it in the second half? I'll do this quickly. In a minute. Pass, run, sack, pass, run, pass, run, pass, run. There we go. Harlan Berry, back-to-back carries in the third quarter, the second drive of the third quarter. That's the first time you had backs go back-to-back carries in the game. The second drive of the third quarter. And then on 3rd and 9, Xavion Thomas, 1-yard reception. You kick the 40-yard field goal. Run, pass. Run, pass. Run, pass. Run, pass. Run, pass. Run. Harlan Berry touchdown. Back-to-back runs, Harlan Berry on the touchdown. 2 times all game did your running backs get carries on consecutive plays. 2 times the entire game. You want to know my biggest problem? Y'all can talk all y'all want. Y'all can have all the stupid conversations you want about, look, Nussmeier he got hit and his torso, and look, he aggravated, he stepped into the throw and zone, like all the stupid conspiracy. You're gonna have all the stupid conspiracy theories you want. All the stupid conspiracy theories you want. All the stupidity of people met blood. Shut up. Like literally shut up. Do you it is physically impossible to play football with a torn oblique. Shut up. Stupidity. Absolute stupidity. You want to know what bothers me? That I just went through an entire football game, and only 2 times the entire game did you give handoffs to your running backs on consecutive plays. You want to know why you can't run the football? You don't try to run a football. I got to go. Have an awesome day. Love to you all. There's 2 Locked On LSU episodes, so please go check them out. I'd appreciate it greatly.